Oh, right. That is such a big mistake to make right now.
It is.
Now it's too
Do we
late
need
to do
to-
much about it. Yeah.
We need to
can-
pause?
Yeah.
What needs to happen?
We're good.
Push it through.
You're just
gonna be
feeling it.
A 10-minute episode.
I do like the urgency, though. The urgency feels nice.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
totally... Yeah,
It's been a while.
I hate it. Well, yeah, because I didn't get to sit in the last book club. And
It's really been a while. I
It's
forgot.
been 5 weeks for you. Holy
Wow.
Yes, it's been
I
such
forgot
a
what you
long
look
while.
like. Yeah.
And I really missed it. And the thing is, like, the book is really moving for me right now. I mean, I enjoy like the first section, but now it is so painful to not keep reading the book. So in the meantime, I went through Ender's Game. I went through
great
Red
book.
Rising Book 1. I'm halfway into Red Rising Book 2. And these are the things that I'm doing while just waiting for book club to resume so I can get back to
Well,
Kavalier
tomorrow
play.
you can read part 5.
I might start tonight. So I finished, I'm working on that big, like, 18,000 piece puzzle. I just finished the second quarter.
Oh, where do you like keep it when like it's so big? It's so much space.
He
Yeah,
has a room that's a puzzle room.
Yeah,
I
it's
see.
like each quarter sits on 2 tables, like 2 folding tables.
It's a little bit smaller than this room. It's a good sized room for puzzling.
That's
So
very funny.
my point is, like, I already set up my next layer, and I'm about to rip open bag 3. So me, Kavalier Clay, bag 3 of this puzzle, we're ready to get going.
Let's do it.
No, I do not, to answer your question. I know you're asking me a question in order to keep this professional, not put it in front of people.
Yep, that's what I was doing.
We're giving up today.
But I haven't done
Professional
it.
as hell.
That's what I was doing.
Anyway, Lauren, take us in. Let's go. I'm so
All right,
ready.
cool. All right, well, welcome to book club, everybody. It's been a minute, but we're ready to get back into this. Yes, ready for our book club. So I guess like first question is my usual one. What are your kind of initial reactions to this chapter, The Golden Age, Part 4? This was a heavy one, I know. Long and a lot happens.
There is so much
From the
train
beginning to
happening.
the end of the Golden Age.
Yeah, I'm gonna start muting. I'm sorry. It's
So much train happening at
that-
Patrick's house.
That was yeah.
It was heavy. And there was so much covered. And I read it. I think I finished the section like 2 weeks ago because we're like we said, we're a week off because of last week. And so you had to just refresh us as we were getting started.
I had to
'cause I was like-
refresh myself this morning and kind of
I remembered,
skimmed over
like-
the whole thing.
I basically remembered I remembered all of that, but I felt like some of that happened in some previous sections because that was so much to cover.
Yeah, well, a
And-
lot happened. This book really doesn't give you time to rest. Like,
No, it
stuff is
just-
constantly happening and
kept
keeps the ball
rolling.
moving.
But yeah, my one word review on this section is wow.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, there was this desert race I was watching a couple weeks ago, and it takes place over, like, let's say 5 days. And day one is, let's say day 1 is like an 8-hour day. And then day 2 is like a 6-hour day. And day 3 is a 6-hour day. And then
Sure.
day 4 is 32 hours. And that's what this section felt like. It felt like day 4 of
This
this
is the long
desert
one.
race.
Sure.
But it wasn't a slog. Like, I wasn't like, on one hand, it's very long. Like, there was one point that I remember
I
checking
think
how
this
much.
is the longest like number of pages per section that we've had so far.
And there
Not
was
by,
one
like, a
time I
tremendous amount,
remember
but yeah.
like checking where I was in relation to the end of the section and thinking, like, oh, we should maybe extend the book club for this week.
But we did anyway, so it worked out just
Yeah, it
fine.
worked out.
Unrelated, we did.
Yeah.
But that said, like, there was a lot happening. It was very dense, and so it was never boring. It was a bit of a roller coaster of a section. I mean, I don't think there is an
goes
emotion
from-
or that I didn't feel at some point, or like a situation that wasn't thrown at me. But I do think it's the strongest section so far.
I mean, I think this is like the title kind of says it all. Like, this was the golden age. Like, it goes from like them kind of being like the happiest they're going to be and they're all together in New York to like totally crashing all of that by the end of this section.
Yeah.
Definitely demons coming out. And some of them
Yeah,
were
against-
self-inflicted and some weren't, but they were coming out.
Yeah, I think one kind of nice thing is that this is like I think the most time we've had with Sammy since the first section. So I like that we got so much time to like
A
hang out
return
with
to Sammy.
Yeah.
And I
For
think
sure.
a lot of that is kind of through the introduction of like the last kind of big character that'll be introduced is Tracy Bacon. What did you guys think of him?
I liked Tracy. I liked the gumption that he had. And I love that I love what he was for Sammy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wait, which one's Tracy?
his boyfriend
The
yeah.
guy who
who
plays
plays the escapist on
It
the
was just
Escapist,
weird because
yeah.
you said the word gumption, and suddenly I was like, "Am I thinking about the right person?" But
I think that
They-
definitely
No,
applies to
gumption's
him.
fine.
he's
I just
full of
don't know what it
gumption,
means.
Yeah.
That's the okay. I say that's the literal appropriate usage of that.
Yeah,
word.
I think you could easily say that Tracy Bacon.
You mean he's a
very gumptious
detective?
character, Yeah.
Oh wait, that's a gumshoe. Never mind.
yes.
yeah, that's a gumshoe. But I think gumption is the perfect word considering
Yes.
the era, right? Mm-hmm. Like I just think
It's got
I
some
don't know
that
that-
kid's got gumption. That's
yeah,
how you do that.
exactly.
I don't know that I had strong feelings about his character. I mean,
No big
he's
reaction? Just
he's
seems cool?
fine,
Yeah.
but fine, however you say it.
It's pronounced gumption.
Okay, thank you. But no, I don't. I mean, I don't know that I see him as a. I think he's maybe just as much of a negative force as a positive force, and I don't know that I walked away with like
interesting.
strong
Do
feeling.
you think that's because of what happened at the end, though, or like?
Could be.
I guess I don't need to like talk like around spoilers, and I am for some reason.
We,
so
we
sorry,
should
I'll
all
stop
be
doing that,
spoiled
yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, everybody,
exactly.
we will spoil what happens in this section of the book. So,
Like we have in every other
Yes,
section
yes.
of this book conversation.
I guess it just feels like there's so much that happens in this section, so it's just different. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the intention, you have Curse of Knowledge, maybe he is only meant to be seen as a positive influence for Sammy.
Yeah.
But to me, like, he seems like he could just as easily derail his life, especially because, I mean, I think a great example is him going up. Sammy has a job to do, and he's supposed to be like, I guess, security for this area, and
yeah.
this other guy
Sammy's
just
job
walks
watching
in. I mean,
planes, yeah.
even though that could cost Sammy his job, right? That could create a bad situation for
It
him.
is a
And so
volunteer job. I don't know if it's.
I
Like,
know,
I know.
I know,
Sammy
but
likes doing it clearly, but
but it's still this idea of like he could just as easily just derail the stuff in Sammy's
he's
life.
too much of a wild card for you.
He's a wild card. Yeah,
He's a bad boy. You don't want him dating. little
Mackenzie's
Sammy.
not like that.
Yeah.
So that's my issue. I would have never
Manny.
dated this guy.
Bad boy.
Fine.
I think I would date him. He seems
Yeah.
like
No.
if I was at the stage of life that Sammy was in, I feel like that would be and conflicted and always kind of on the verge of success, but always just a little shy of like satisfaction.
But don't you think he's maybe a little bit of a bullshitter?
Oh, for sure, but
Yeah,
Like-
but
a
I
little
don't.
bit of
I think in a
bullshitter,
pretty
so, like,
harmless way, though. Like not. I don't think he's lying about.
Is
things
at
that are
first, but it's a
important.
slippery
Yeah.
slope.
But yeah, I guess maybe here's my
I see
thing.
what you're saying now, but it's funny
I-
because like I don't really see it that way, or
Right.
I didn't
I
think of it
don't
that way when I read the book.
disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree that he could be a negative force, but we know that he, at least for now, Sammy chooses to stay, right? So I think
Sure.
because of that, I think he was a good thing for Sammy for this for this day and for this time, kind of for this season of life. I don't necessarily know if I would like him to be fully pulled away from oh my gosh.
Joe.
Thank you. All I could think of was Carl. I'm like, I know it's not Carl.
Carl. We'll get to
yeah,
Carl.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
worry. We're not forgetting about him.
But I could see in a scenario in which it pulls him away because he goes with him to California to pull him away from Joe, and I didn't like that. But
I mean, they
since he
did say
didn't
that
do
like
it,
Joe was considering moving there. Also, I don't think it's like a permanent like they're going away because I think Sammy was only supposed to go for like 3 months to like write the script and then was coming back.
you had to
At least
remind
that
me
was
of
the
this
plan.
whole section.
Like,
So.
yeah, sorry.
let me remind you that you had
No,
to
I
remind
see.
me.
I see. Like, I was kind of sad that they were like breaking the group up too. Like, I didn't want. Like, I like that they're buddies. I mean, I think part of the reason it's so sad at the end that Joe leaves is like, oh, like you broke up the band.
You
know?
left? I'm just kidding. I
I was
remember
like,
that
oh
part.
shit. Yeah. I kind of froze because I was like, wait.
I can see a situation for you, Lauren, where you are a little bit nervous to spoil things because you do know what happens next. So I can see.
I'm trying.
Keep
Yeah,
some
there's-
guardrails on. That's okay.
I
Keep
also
some
almost
guardrails.
spoiled a really bit, like that the boat sinks last time. I almost said that, so like I think that's why I'm like tiptoeing a little more than I was before.
And we appreciate that. We appreciate.
Yeah, so I'm just trying not to like completely step in it. But I haven't read ahead this time, so that does like keep me a little more honest.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Thankfully, we have questions that have guardrails.
Yes.
So
Yes,
that's nice.
perfect.
We do.
So I just thought I'd ask one more question before we get into those questions. I'm going to mix up the order a little bit this time, where I think we'll do a shorter intro and then kind of talk about some scenes after the questions, the like online questions. But just thought I'd ask if there was any kind of like fun little nods, because I had one that I wanted to share with that I shared with you guys, so you guys can help me out here. But I looked up what this is hard to say. City and like the Perisphere, the place that Tracy and Sammy break into during the World's Fair, is a real thing. So I looked up some pictures of it to show, because I was like, I think it's kind of hard to imagine what they're describing based on the book, because it's so weird that I was like, oh, this is close to what I had in my head, but not like exactly. So I thought it was kind of cool to see the pictures, because it's basically like kind of like a giant like Epcot golf ball that's like very smooth.
Yeah.
And it was like like a big arena for the people could fit inside, and there was like railing all around the
Can we show it?
Yes, please. And there's railing around, and then there's diorama in the center. So I think it's pretty cool to see.
I will say what I was picturing was not this.
Andrew,
was-
are you
this one- I do
actively
think it's
sharing
pretty
this, or am
close,
I?
yeah.
Oh no, I had asked for you to pull it up.
Oh, I thought you said should or
Spider-Man.
should I?
No, no.
It is-
I'm sitting here going like, okay, here we go. Any moment.
Yeah.
Any moment.
I was like, I'll just keep going while I'm trying to describe this.
Lauren
But I did think that
Lauren
was cool.
can vamp if we need her to.
It's
I
de-
think
it's
I was doing a good
democracy,
job.
right? Isn't that how you say
Yes,
it? Democracy.
Yes, yes.
What I was
Democracy.
picturing, though, for whatever reason, and there's not necessarily a reason for me to picture this, but I was picturing the Space Needle.
They do. There is like a kind of Washington
Like a-
Monument kind
like
of
a
needle tower
towery
thing
thing.
attached as well.
But that's what I was envisioning.
Yeah,
and
it was hard for me to understand how those were connected. And the truth is, they're just next to each other. So I was like, oh, well, they did do a great job of describing it. It's just a really strange, structure, so you wouldn't know.
All right, here we
But
go.
yeah, here's the real picture of the Perisphere from the World's Fair.
Yeah.
And there's, I think, like here you go. There's where you can see like the big tower and kind of the shape leading up to it. It looks really cool. Like, I imagine seeing this at the time was like, no one has seen anything like this.
And what's that?
Yeah,
Is
so you can see like the models in the center, and then there's the railings around the edge, and the people are standing on the side to like look down on it.
This does look like Spaceship Earth. This feels
Yeah.
like when you're going. Well, I've
Kind
never
of
been on
World of
Spaceship Earth.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
What's the like people? I'm sorry.
the people
It's
mover?
like the train that runs above Tomorrowland. That's on like the
The
magnet
people
railway.
mover. People
It is
mover.
People Mover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like going through a People Mover.
Yeah. I think like that's very inspired by like World's Fair stuff. So yeah, and this is
look
like
at
an
that.
enhanced picture someone.
And this is
did,
not
I think,
here
but
anymore.
this
This has
looks
been torn down.
Yeah. It was like it was just for the World's Fair, so they tore it all down and. never
It's a
saw it again.
little veiny at the bottom.
Okay.
Sorry.
They couldn't get it perfectly smooth.
Said from a fully disconnected voice because there's no faces on the screen right now.
That's so funny.
All right, Democracy. We got there.
I did have one other fun thing I wanted to mention, because there was a shout out for another comic book artist that I really like. And I know they've been doing this the whole time, but it's one of my favorites, who's Winsor McKay, who did the Little Nemo books. And I have this comically large Little Nemo
Little
book that's, like,
Nemo.
the actual like size of the newspaper pages. So
You could sleep on that as a bed.
They're so
You could
cool.
curl up on this book.
Literally, I think your body, if you
love this.
coiled, you could fit on that.
But you can see like the layouts are really crazy. and
So
stuff.
it's Little Nemo
yeah.
and the Adventures in Dreamland, right?
Slumberland, yeah.
Slumberland. Do you guys remember that video game?
Yes, and do you remember
Oh
in the
my
movie? It's really good.
No.
The movie did not. The movie was the Jason Momoa one.
No. There's a cartoon
Aquaman?
one that's like the same. The video game is like based off.
Oh, I don't
Let
think
me-
I've seen that movie.
Let me ask you a question.
I don't know where it's streaming. We'll have to like look this up separately, but it's very good, or at least I remember it being good. It's like a weird kids movie for sure.
Is that
Sorry.
book size Is that like the actual size that the original prints would have been?
Yes,
like the
because they were in the newspaper. It was a newspaper comic, so this is like
Okay.
the big full pages of everything. Whoopsie!
I think that's a thing, and I realize you just spilled something everywhere.
I just
but
a little bit of water.
nice. I think
All
that's
over
what
that
I.
newsprint.
And my no, it's not just a little bit on my.
So
desk.
this past week, Andrew and I were together, and we were at a comic book shop that was selling these like old
Panels.
comic book like panels.
Yeah, like
In-
the sheets, the artist sheets that
Yeah.
would then get scaled. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did not realize how big these panels were. Like because I've only seen them in like the back of a newspaper, or I've seen them like digitally, but I had no. I didn't understand these things are massive.
yeah.
They're way
These
more.
old-
Say it
Go ahead.
again. I was
Go
gonna say it's impressive. They're like so crisp, and the type is so nice. Like at that scale, they're like. I mean, to me, they're more works of art than seeing them the way I've traditionally
Oh,
seen
yeah.
them.
Scaled.
So.
And that's the ones that we saw there. So I've worked with comic boards before, and the modern comic boards are 2x the size of a comic book. But these were like 3 or 4x. Like these
Yeah.
old, because they're old. They were like from the 30s and 40s. They were like
That book I picked up at a museum exhibit about comic books that had a bunch of original like Jack Kirby pages and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And yeah, they're exactly like you're describing. But the whole gallery was just full of these, and you could like
They're
walk around the wall and like read like 5 pages in a row or
Well, I
whatever.
can't
Like
read,
it was
but-
such like one of the coolest exhibits I've ever seen in a museum.
Are there audio
I-
versions?
Of a exhibit in a museum.
Actually, there probably are. It just walks you through the exhibit. You can't see anything. I imagine, I don't know this for sure, but if I were to be a betting man, I would put money on the idea that the reason they were scaled so large before is so they could all be handwritten. Comic books now are typed. They're not handwritten anymore, so you don't have to have such fidelity for the writing. You can scale the art down and then just digitally put the font in at whatever size you need. So that's my guess would be why they've adjusted the scaling, and it's more economical to
but
not
seeing
have
that-
such a large
Yeah.
pieces of paper.
I think
saw your
seeing
question.
the hand drawn type was the most exciting part to me.
It was really cool. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
neat.
That was like a traveling exhibit that came through the Milwaukee Art Museum like when I was in college. I don't know where it ended up now, but it was a really cool exhibit.
It got burned down in the LA fires.
Okay.
Somewhere I have like a program from it too because it was really cool. But I'll see if I can find it. But yeah, so really, really great stuff. Just if you ever want to check out Little Nemo in Slumberland, I recommend both the books and the movie. Maybe not the Jason Momoa one. I haven't watched that one. All right, so let's get it
Are
straight
we
into
talking
our
about
questions.
Aquaman?
That
talking
one.
about
Yeah, he plays
The one where Jason
Flip.
Momoa
I
plays
think is
like
the
a.
character's name.
What's the character? What's the?
I think his
what
name is Flip, right?
Tumnus?
The one with the cigar.
Yes, but what's
I think-
Tumnus? He's a Mr. Tumnus.
James
from,
McAvoy.
No, not who.
Oh,
played
Mr.
it.
Tumnus is from Narnia.
I know, but what kind? He's a fawn,
Yeah,
right?
like a
yeah,
satyr.
isn't-
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure. Nick Slater. Is that what you said?
Satyr. Yeah.
A satyr. Thank you. Satyr.
It's like that big meal they
I
have.
was like,
for
where are we
Jewish
going
people.
on this little
I
trip?
believe Jason Momoa's character is a satyr. Correct? me
Gosh,
if
what
I'm
I said
Oh!
was funnier than I got credit for.
I'm
All
trying-
right, let's go to the questions.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
Speaking
What
of a
ride.
Jewish meal,
Okay. All right.
back
we're
to the book.
All right, let's get on track. All right, so first question was, after seeing Citizen Kane, Joe and Sammy are inspired to start elevating their comics for adult readers. In what ways could this validate their comic books as a more quote-unquote serious art form?
Okay, but did you mean this question as validation to themselves or validation to others?
I think you could take it either way.
To me, it's less about validating. How do I say this? The fact that they had a desire to do it
Mm-hmm.
shows that they want to be seen as serious. So I don't know that they needed self-validation, but I think that they want to feel validation from others that comic books is not just a flash in the pan. And not just that, but that comic, this story or this art form could rival movie, could rival this like Goliath of media. And so
It's
yeah,
one of the things that's still considered the best movie ever.
yeah.
Yeah. And I
so-
think that they talk a lot in this section how Sammy is keeps saying he wants something legit, like, to to kind of do, because he like isn't confident enough about the comic books and even the books he writes. He kind of blows that off and says that like, it's like, people just pretend like they're interested in comic books, and my books are just like pulp books. The gross. No one reads those either. Like just constantly kind of putting himself down about it.
So yeah, I feel like it's more about validation from others, but maybe with Sammy that's not the case. Maybe that's more of Joe. Maybe Joe's the one that already feels like more strongly about it. So maybe Sammy does have some of the self-validation.
I go the other way. I think
Really?
that, yeah, because there's a section, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember. So
there's a section in here where Joe starts to get a little fatigued from the punching, like the Nazi punching, and
yeah, he finally kind of agrees to stop using that as the villains.
Yeah. And so I think I was seeing this as a little bit of a growth moment in him, and maybe not because that's right or wrong, right? Because I think they're both, it's innocuous. It can be either good or bad. But the idea that he was kind of getting bored with the same old thing and ready for there to be, and he has grown since he's been in New York for 2 years, right? I think that's about what he's been, right? He's grown over these 2 years, and his mission, he's not any more a friend to the Nazis. He just has a different way of fighting them now. And he has evolved as a person. And I saw it as a little bit of like, okay, let's let the character evolve as we evolve. That was kind of my take on it.
I think I see it that way as well. Like, but I think it's a little bit of both, because they are two different characters and they have like slightly different motivations behind this. And I think Sammy is just in general a lot more like self-deprecating in general. How Jewish of him, but
how Jewish of him.
Honestly, it is a trait, but I just think it's like, definitely like wants to like, I think he wants like someone like his mom to be like taking it seriously, like not just like just kids or whatever.
Well,
like,
yeah, I assume
like
that
I caught myself like on Monday I was watching Invincible, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm still watching cartoons, but man, this show is so good. Like,
I thought that was the movie with Matt Wahlberg playing for the Eagles.
The cartoon one is a lot better. Let me tell you.
Mark Wahlberg's brother, Matt. Gosh.
He has like 15 brothers, but Matt's not one of them.
He does have 15 brothers. So
could have said Donnie.
But like, yeah, I've always just taken his attitude outwardly to be more about his insecurity bred by his like family situation and his like personal limitations. But I don't know that I think that it always aligns with. I'm trying not to laugh. I don't know that I think it always aligns with how he feels deep down, if that makes sense. Like sometimes I feel like because the fact is he can in another breath come across as like the most like cocksure person in the room. And I don't think you can fully fake that. I think there's like a bit of truth, but maybe it's both sides. Maybe he's just susceptible to like his childhood trauma, and also he does think this thing is really important.
Jewish, by the way.
Right, which is not just Jewish.
I'm just being funny about it, but
but like
is a thing.
But at the same time, like this situation exists because Sammy believed in himself more than other people believed in himself.
Yeah,
so that's
true.
the part of me that says like he has to already have some level of personal validation to even push as hard as he has. And so maybe it's more about getting people like his mom and other people to say, oh shit, this is like a real thing,
Yeah, like I'm not just working on silly stuff, but it's I liked the kind of moment where like right after they see the movie too, where Tracy calls him out and is just like, you're just making excuses. It's not the comic books that you think are inferior, it's you.
Yeah.
Take that.
I was like, so I do think he has like a lot of like inner insecurity, but yeah, it is funny because like he goes back and forth where like, if he needs to, he will stick up for his comic books like it's the like greatest thing on earth. But then I think like some part of him is still very insecure.
Yeah.
Again, also not unique to Jews.
Yeah, I know. I just thought that was funny. I had to make the joke. All right.
Yeah,
so
and honestly, of the three of us, you're the only one who can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just say them. Just
I
kidding.
believe
Not
what you're supposed
awkward
to
at
say
all.
is those people.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to the next question. So Sammy and Tracy attend a private gathering that is raided by the police. How does this scene highlight the precariousness of their private reality in the 1940s?
So their relationship.
Yes. This is a question I was trying to write kind of vaguely so that if people read it before they read the
didn't give it
chapter,
away.
it doesn't
Yeah.
completely spoil it. So I'm sorry it is written a little strangely.
But to be fair, Tracy could be a typically gendered name either direction. So
That's true. I didn't think of that.
That's
kind
true.
of like Pat or
Yeah.
Patrick or Patrick Hill. Those
Thank
could just
you.
be either gender.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was
well,
very, very sneaky. Yeah.
the reality is that you can be, in some ways, untouchable in the eyes of others. Like you can have this thing that's so important and so valuable, and other people want. But then at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter. You're still like a spot on, what society or like the cultural norms of the time, right? You're just
Yeah.
a mar, and you mean nothing. So
Yeah. I think
the other side of it is it's created this situation because it is again, it's something you can go to jail for, and then that can upend your whole
Yeah.
life and livelihood and whatever. It is also a hook that other people can use to take advantage of you. So by pursuing this thing with Tracy, you're basically making yourself vulnerable to everyone else, but vulnerability not in like the positive, look how like much personal growth I've had way, but vulnerable in the cop can take advantage of you type way as well.
Yeah.
So
It's-
he has to be a fully different person in that regard, or he's
Yeah, I
treated
think
as a
it
fully
was-
different person. I
yeah, I
should say.
think it was very, like when you're reading this, it's kind of crazy to think like things were this different, and this is really not like that long of a time ago. Like it's not even 100 years ago. Like and it was like this is clearly like like they're just hanging out. This shouldn't be anything wrong with this, and like they, like you said, can go to jail and like ruin your whole life. Like if this had got like if the police raid had like gone through, like there's a lot of like repercussions for kind of I think everyone involved.
I don't know that it
like.
I don't know that the situation that ended up happening didn't ruin his life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Because
definitely
what
think it
happened was
does,
so. I mean, he gets violated in such a aggressive way, and I mean, as a person who has dealt with specifically with sexual abuse when I was a kid, that ripples out. I didn't even start to try to deal with that until I was 35 years old, right? Like, and like that is a real thing that will affect him for the rest of his life.
And Sammy already kind of has trouble like opening up in a lot of ways. So like I don't think that like he's the kind of person who's gonna handle this like have an easy time handling it.
Yeah, totally.
And I think
that was a hard scene to read.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
Like just it was pretty graphic. Of all of the ways of kind of wording things, it was pretty graphic, and so much I was like, okay, wait, did I read that right? Like, was that really what just happened?
Yeah.
So that was a little tough.
And I think it's a very like interesting kind of parallel because like in this chapter, the like everything going on in Europe and like with World War II kind of comes into America kind of for both of them in different ways. And like Sammy's like literally being persecuted just because of nothing, like, and is like going to get rounded up and go to jail. And like, so that kind of crashes like his world. And then like at the same time, like all the stuff that happens with Joe's brother, then like, makes it too real for him and he makes his decision.
Not to jump, I know this is off the topic a little bit, but I did want to say I really enjoyed the parties in this section of the book.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about it here, but the entire party where we have like, who was it? Like Gandhi or something? Just kidding. Like, who was the guy? In,
Dali was the one in the previous section, but yeah, they have some great like bar mitzvahs that they talk
Wait, was that in this section
Yeah.
or the last section?
Dolly was
last
last section.
No, that's what happens when
But
I
they
haven't been here
They
for
had the
two
like
sections.
Citizen Kane party in this section, so it was like another
Okay.
big party with a lot of like real famous people that they mention. Yeah,
Every
so
time they're talking about a
constantly
party,
partying.
I
Yeah.
want to be at that party. Like the
does
party
sound pretty
sounded really
cool.
cool. This party wasn't great.
This
the
is
way
not
it
a great.
ended.
It was up until a certain point. Sounded like
Yeah.
a fun party. Yeah.
Well, and then you got Holga or whatever her name is coming in and
Yeah.
ruining everything.
Ethel. Yeah, I think maybe we should save this to talk about a little later because I want to talk about like all the stuff that happened with Carl and his family. I think in just a second, but like that kind of the way that kind of circled back was like I think really fascinating. But let's get into the last question so we can go back and talk about some of those other scenes. Part four ends with the tragedy for the Ark of Miriam. Discuss how does this event shatter the Golden Age and for the characters and how their responses are different for the event, which we kind of got into a little bit just now. But obviously, Joe decides to enlist in the Navy and leave. So that kind of breaks the gang up for real.
I mean, Andrew, maybe you should. This is like such a heavy part of this section, so maybe you should start.
Yeah, it feels like an act break, right? Like it really does. Real kind of a hard pivot, and I wasn't really expecting it, right? Like in
things were going so well,
and I kind of was to a lesser extent the stuff that ended up happening to Sammy. That even though it was graphic and it was tough, I kind of expected that more because of the time, and I knew that this was, that lifestyle is not something that is accepted and for whatever reason was actually like illegal at the time, like those kinds of things, right? Which is crazy. So I kind of expect something like that to happen. After all of this build up with Joe and the work he's put into to get his brother here, and so much exposition around his brother and the story of his brother, I didn't want it to end this way. And
no, it's so sad.
Came out of left field, and it was kind of a hard slam on this section. And we spent, the last sixth of the section reeling, trying to catch up with like, okay, what's going to happen as a result of this? And then ultimately, we find out Joe is going to go, he leaves to go to the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Navy. He leaves to go to the Navy. So it's a hard break, and it's like a watershed moment. And it was a moment too where Sammy, like all of this stuff is encapsulated at the same time. Sammy, I believe, chooses to stay as a result of this, right?
Yes, he decides after the events at the party, like basically his mom calls him at that mansion and maybe saves his life by doing so. And one of the other guys drives him back to the city, and that they like look for Joe, and like I think Sammy did say that he saw him right like when he got stuff from their apartment, but then like he left. Yeah, and like so, but I'm sorry. Sammy does decide to stay in New York and not go with Tracy to L.A. at the very end.
Yeah, we're at the
kind of
end
too
of
much
this,
for him.
This act break really is, again, like this book likes to do. We're at a pivot point, and what are we gonna do? What decisions are gonna be made by our characters, and what's gonna be their next step? We have no idea. And this book has done a really good job of being this good. Yeah, each section ends with one of these like, oh my gosh, this is a make or break moment, and we're there again, but in a really sad, tragic way.
Yeah, it's the snap to reality moment, I think, as well, of we have Joe that's escaped what is oppressive but hasn't turned into the monster yet that we know it turns into. And now this is the moment of I think it's just this realization of, because this is the first moment of the book that like felt horrible, I think, when I was reading it, of like really devastating. And so it's the reminder of the world that exists outside of New York or wherever, but it's
it feels like the bubble burst,
completely. And now now what's happening in the world has come to you, and that monster is really becoming the monster. So it was all very shocking. And I agree, like I remember reading it thinking like, he's got so much money to throw at the problem, like why are they making this so difficult? Just like take his money and make it happen. And then this isn't an issue money can fix. Like this is
it's just
it's
Yeah,
a completely
time
different
dependent.
problem. And so the thing that I was like annoyed at isn't a thing. So yeah, reading it was like a
Well,
devastating
there's so
moment.
many like obstacles that just keep like it's like with Thomas trying to get over, like, you know, like the thing where they called Eleanor Roosevelt, for example, you know, like it's just so much like red tape tying this up, and like this should be a very simple question. These are like refugee children. Why are we arguing? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Again, you know, at the risk of becoming too political, it's sad how relevant this still is. Like,
Yeah,
it's
this
crazy.
is it kind of keeps surprising me how much this is like relevant now as we reread this, or as I'm rereading it, this book, you know.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Oh, we won't go there.
But yeah, we won't end on such a sad note. Let's go back
Bye,
and
everybody.
talk about some other interesting scenes. I mean, I guess some of these are also sad, but I wanted to kind of talk about the moment where Carl comes back. We kind of get another sort of comic book chapter all of a sudden where it's in the POV of the villain of the story this time, the saboteur. And you kind of see what Carl's been up to. And just as a reminder, Carl was the guy who worked for the Aryan American League that Joe kind of broke into his headquarters, and then in retaliation they sent the fake bomb over. But now he's kind of clocked on that Joe is the one that was kind of the enemy, or the one messing with him, I guess. And so he realizes that he is a magician at all these bar mitzvahs, and like kind of inserts himself and tries to plant a bomb at one of them, which is like really horrifying.
I don't know if I should be like, because I'm reading
But
this.
it sounds like such a supervillain plan, you know, like
It does.
you know, like
It
where he
sounds
made it look
horrific.
like yes,
But then it kind of ends up being, I don't want to say funny, but it's just like bumbling at the end. And
yeah.
it's, but like I was reading it as like, I was so on the edge of my seat for this situation. And then it played out like an old episode of like, I don't know, Batman and Robin. Yeah, exactly.
Like the Adam West Batman.
The 100%, it turned into Adam West Batman, and it was like a bit jarring for me.
But
And then
I mean,
ended
I'm
up
glad
being-
that it turned out funny and not sad, because like that's like I like how they kind of messed with you with making you think it was like not a real situation until you're like, oh no, this is what they're talking about happening right now. They're kind of mixing the narrative of the comic book with what was actually happening, kind of like in Carl's head, basically.
Thank you. Because I found myself confused and went back.
I think
I
it's
forgot
intentional.
I forgot that I had that this had happened, because again, this was
It's
too long
okay,
ago
2
for
weeks
my brain.
ago.
But it was another one of those situations, like the Moth situation, like the origin story of the escape, like all these things. It felt like it was one of those, and so I was reading it along, and then I realized,
yeah.
oh,
and I
crap,
think they did that on
this
purpose to kind of trick you.
yeah, they baited us for sure. And by the time I realized this was really happening, I was like, oh, I need to be invested in this. Like, this is wild.
I went back and like reread part of it because I'm like, wait, no, you have to think this is like real. So like I'm picturing this wrong. Like,
Yeah, I did the same thing. I think comparing it to the Moth is the perfect comparison, because it just felt like another one of those like vignettes. And yeah, it was like halfway in or a third of the way in before I realized it wasn't that.
yeah, but I think that's kind of like Carl's inner monologue almost. Like this is how he sees himself as this like, you know, pumped up like super villain who's like really going at it with this other guy. And it's just like such a weird coincidence that that's like the first time that Joe wears the suit that his like father-in-law gives him, that's essentially an escapist costume. So he's like dressed as the character, you know, that he sees himself as the antagonist of. Like,
let me ask this real quick. Do you, even though, you know, in my mind, like Joe and Sam are our narrators, that's how I think of what I'm reading. But would you say that this whole segment you think is actually kind of we're seeing the other perspective? Like the fact that it feels like this really like evil arc is actually because this is how he perceives himself?
that's my interpretation of it, but I think it's also just like there is one of those like vignette chapters in each section, and so like they used it very effectively to kind of make you feel safe when it was really not. And I thought that was like a great way to write that.
Yeah.
Very clever.
I agree. Can we real quick talk about the other thing that's lost in the scuffle.
Yes, I wanted to talk about this too. Yeah, the in his pocket, Joe has the letter from his mom that he never gets to read, which I think is really sad. But I don't like I think it would be hard for Joe to take the advice that's in that letter. You know, I don't know that he was really gonna receive it.
All right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but we get to hear the letter. Like the
Yes.
letter's read to us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about that. Because I didn't find the letter terribly impactful. And so I almost wonder
But his
if
mom is asking him to like just move on and don't like
Move
forget
on.
about them basically. Like
Yeah.
now that you've helped your brother, like, you know, we're just gonna like accept life as it is here and you need to stop worrying about us. Like you guys go have a good life.
well, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's kind of benign. I would expect my mom to send me that letter in some ways. Like it feels like a nicety. It doesn't feel like anything that's really dramatic, and that's the point. I think he's going to
Yeah.
live with it as he is going to feel as though the contents were more dramatic than they probably were because he doesn't know,
He'll
and
never
so
know, yeah.
it's probably going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger to him of like what could it have been, that said, I wonder if for the reader, like for myself, if it would have been more powerful me not knowing, because then
Yeah.
I could have been guessing like, what if it was this and what if it was this. So
Mm-hmm.
it was
That's a
almost
good
a
question. Yeah.
letdown to me that I did get to find out what it said.
I think
And I
it's a
don't
good
love-
point, yeah. But I personally like it just because like I guess like we don't get to know what Joe is thinking a lot of times. So like knowing this I think was like good insight. Cause like I said, I don't think he would necessarily listen to the advice in this letter that his mom's giving him.
Yeah, I guess for me, I think I hadn't really considered it. I maybe just on like a cursory vibe check, don't love that I know something that his mom said to him and he doesn't, which is a weird,
Mhm.
like, that's a fictional character, right? And it was
Yeah.
intended that way, but I don't love having inside baseball knowledge that he now doesn't get to have. I would have rather lost the ability, because I think I would have carried the weight of that moment more if I would have been like, oh, what did it say?
Mm. That's
But
a
like
good
now I'm
point,
like,
yeah.
oh, I know what it says. It sucks that he didn't get to hear it, but like I already know. Like I didn't lose anything in that. He did.
Sure.
I think I would have rather, in terms of empathizing, it probably would have made a better situation if we also lost out on it, because it would have made that situation
Yeah.
even weightier.
Now,
I-
I will
I
say
guess
the
I guess it's like maybe just like playing devil's advocate, like the author's way of just like kind of giving us an update of what's happening with his family, but maybe again it would be more dramatic, not knowing, kind of being in Joe's shoes, like where he
Yeah.
doesn't really know what's going on with the rest of
well,
his family.
I think we could also read this as, hey, for the rest of the book, we should have been doing it before now, but for the rest of the book, I shouldn't be making the assumption that the knowledge I have is only from Joe's perspective or only from
Yeah,
um
it's a funny, narrative where I do feel like they are mostly written, with what the characters think more and not too
but
far
not
beyond that.
fully.
But it isn't a first person narrative, it
And
isn't.
so it is good to, like, as I'm like thinking about sections, to say, wait, could this be someone else's feeling? Could this be someone else's perspective?
Yeah.
So I do think it recontextualizes some of what we've read.
Usually books, at least the ones that I've read, usually books that have multiple perspectives, they tend to either give a header to a section, or a chapter is named like so and so's opinion. This whole chapter is going to be from this character's perspective, and then this chapter is going to be from this character's perspective. Or they have like different fonts that they'll use sometimes stylistically inside the books. This one, it is a bit of a crapshoot, and you've got to pay attention. And sometimes it requires rereading because you've gotten to the end of something and go, wait, what? And then you go back and you reread a section and go, oh, this is this person's ideas. So yeah, it is important to do that, Patrick. Like I think a really cool book that does what we are talking about well is Dungeon Crawler Carl. Dungeon Crawler Carl the whole book is written from Carl's perspective, and so there are whole scenes and things that happen with Donut, his best
That
friend
Carl
in the
doesn't know
book.
about, yeah.
And we find out with Carl when those plans are taking place because Donut didn't fill him in, and so we don't get filled in.
Yeah.
And so like that book does a really good job of maintaining a single voice all the way
Right.
through narrative perspective. Yeah.
I think they play with that a lot in this book because like even like the very beginning is like like telling you stuff that happens in the very very far future from what like is happening in the present of the rest of the story. So
It's almost like a history. It's almost like a history story sometimes. Like
like someone's telling the story of these
you'll
guys.
You'll find out that this, by the time the book has had its final run, it's had blah 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 blah, and then it cuts back to almost like you would see a little panel at the bottom that says 2 years earlier, right? Like,
yeah.
But we don't like, get that 2 years earlier.
Can I say that I
that
hate
is maybe
that?
part of the idea of like it is kind of like comic books where like there's a narrator outside of the story. Even like you're seeing what happens to let's say Spider-Man like on the given story, but then like there is this narrator outside that can give you commentary on like these other parts of it.
I just want to say this has nothing to do with the book, but I absolutely hate that where it's like scene 1 opens on like dead body, and then it's like 72 hours earlier, and that dead body's alive. Hate that.
You don't like that trope?
Oh
No, because I know now I know he dies, so I don't care.
But you love the glass, or you loved
I'm changing.
Wake Up Dead Man.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
whole
but
movie
then-
is that. That's the entire movie around
But
that.
how did
premise.
he die?
Exactly.
The house, that's what's important. We're
I
going
hear
back to
what
the
you're
book.
saying, but I do not like it.
But I reject it.
That's so funny. I think it can work. We get back to our book now, but I think another like interesting wrinkle in that whole story with Carl too is that like how it affected Sammy down the way, because like he sets off the bomb, he gets arrested, and I did like the note that he confessed to more crimes than he was charged with in court so that he would get credit for doing them, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey,
like
that's
such a super villain thing to do.
of a Nazi.
Yeah.
That is the mindset of a Nazi.
Yeah, like yes, I burned down that school.
You know I did.
But I just but the fact that his sister was like extra like upset and like enraged at the fact that he went to prison and not an insane asylum because he's like inspired by comic books to be, or she thinks that he's only inspired by comic books to be weird. But like then like sees the comic book, figures out that Sammy's the author, and then makes this call that like that gets them all arrested. Like I think that was like really interesting way that like the story like intersects with each other that it didn't necessarily need to, but like it definitely like brings it back together in a way where like even though they are more separated and like not actually spending as much time together in this section, their actions still affect each other quite a lot.
There's still stakes. Yeah, they
Yeah.
keep and it feels like it enriches the world a little bit, right? And that is how things work. When you move in circles with people, you have outlier people, and then those people have interactions with other outlier people. So this is kind of like the visualization of I know a guy who knows a guy, and then like when you see that person in real life, then it's like, oh, the world's colliding. But he has no idea what's going on, and I hate that. It's almost like yeah. This was a moment where the narrator was like a third party, just an observer,
Yeah.
because it wasn't from her perspective, because we are also hearing what's going on in his mind, and so it was just kind of like
this
an
is all kind of-
ethereal, like godlike watching over what's happening and explaining what they're seeing.
I think like now that you made this like idea click where it's like it is the comic book like yellow like box at the top that kind of sets things up that isn't quite in either person's perspective or like has kind of extemporary knowledge about the story. Like that is kind of I think what it's doing, and I have never realized that until right now.
Yeah, it's like
You're welcome.
Meanwhile,
That's
at the clubhouse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just shout out to these like absolutely insanely extravagant bar mitzvahs that they keep talking about Joe performing at. Like, I love that they were like, I'm sure this is like true that they were this extravagant, because like I've seen extremely extravagant ones now, but like I just love the descriptions of all those parties as well.
Lauren, can I ask a question? Did you have a bat mitzvah?
I did not.
Okay.
I almost
Do you have a bar mitzvah?
If you
no.
mitzvahs, both bar and bat.
Yes.
The
I had a
I believe
werewolf
that's
bar
a
mitzvah.
I believe
No,
that's
my
a
favorite
John
song.
Mulaney quote. But the if you were to have one, would you have had the great Cavalieri be at it?
Ha! Yes, I would love to have like I definitely went to bar mitzvahs with magicians, so like that's absolutely a thing.
How bummed are you? How bummed were you that he got pressured into doing an escape that almost killed him?
Yeah, I did want to talk about this too. Yeah, I mean, I think he just gave up in that box. Like he was.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do think it was a suicide attempt. Like, I
Yeah,
think that's why he agreed to it.
but even the
Yeah.
bullying, like up to like, how mad were you at that family for just continuing to like
That
"Oh,
kid,
how
yeah.
about $50? How about an extra $100? Come on, buddy.
I mean, they
Everybody's
have
got a
no
price."
idea why he's saying no. They don't know that he has this like extreme trauma from why he decided not to do it. You know.
But you, at some point, you got to just trust the guy that a no means no. You know, it just
Yes,
it felt
I
like
did
it felt like a bullying. It felt like bullying.
Yeah, well, they had to like bribe the detective to give him the handcuffs and all this stuff. Like it was very over the top. But I guess like the kid said he's like obsessed with magic, so like that maybe that was the idea. Like I don't know.
Yeah, nothing's good enough for my
what a
kid.
little shit.
Right. Nothing's too rich. I don't know.
Nothing's
I
good
wasn't.
enough.
I don't think
Nothing's-
it bothered me that the dad
think-
kept offering more money, but
Yeah, I mean,
it
I
did
think
come
it-
across as just straight,
A
like
little insensitive, yeah. Well,
And whether or not he
we
planned-
know what's going on, and like it's so much worse. And like, though they did say like everyone saw him react to the news when like the kid's like uncle or whatever who like was in the
Yeah,
I forget
yeah,
like
yeah,
the
it was-
association that he had to like get the news early, but like announced it to the party, and like everyone saw that he had a reaction. And so I don't know, they're a little dangerous, but it's hard to understand when he agreed to the escape, because if it's after he found out about his brother, that's terrible.
yeah. But I was gonna also say, like, I don't, even though I do think it was a suicide attempt, I don't necessarily think that he started it as a suicide attempt. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know that we're given an inclination of like he made a decision.
but he may have been fine with the outcome of it.
Right.
Yeah,
For
I
the-
think
for
he was
the-
just too emotional to be doing that type of thing anyway. I think
For
he
the
just
record,
shut down.
The reason that I'm upset with this dad,
Yeah,
it has
no,
nothing
I
to
think
do
it was
with
shitty
has-
for sure.
It has nothing to do with the curse of knowledge that I know that there's something going that he's dealing with that he doesn't know. It's the idea of how pushy, like that to me, it just feels so smarmy and so slimy. And to do it in front of your kid on their, on this special day,
On their
I don't
special
know, it just
day, yeah.
felt like it just wasn't a good look.
But
for
it
me.
does speak to
No.
value. Like, you don't talk that way to someone that you value highly.
that you respect, right?
That you
A no
respect.
from someone you respect means something.
Sure.
Means no. You talk that way to someone you don't, right?
Also, just to put it in perspective, he is like a 20-year-old kid. You know what I mean? Like he's very young. And,
He is,
like,
but the
yeah.
person understands that he's connected to this comic book world, right?
I think so. I have a hard time
don't know.
understanding that 100%.
Yeah.
Because
he
I'm
would've,
saying if
because
he
this
does,
kid was Rosa's relative, right? Like, so,
right? But I'm saying if he understands
it's a
that,
different kid,
then
but yeah.
I think it also speaks to this idea of people don't take it seriously. Because again,
maybe.
you don't talk that way to someone that you have any sort of care, respect
Yeah.
for,
You don't
etc.
try to coerce someone or coax someone into something if
Yeah.
you trust their word and
yeah.
What else you got for us, Lauren? Is that it, Lauren?
I think, yeah, that's it. I just kind of wanted to like go back and talk about some of these things because they were just like such interesting parts of the story that didn't quite fit in, like didn't quite have enough questions to cover everything. There was so much that happened in this section, like we were saying before. So just wanted to, nibble at all these good
Did we
tidbits.
talk about pregnancy at all?
No.
Oh no, we didn't. Let's
Were you
let's talk about
saving
one.
that?
Excuse me. No, I didn't mean to. I just
That
It is
feels
such a
like
sec-
that feels like a big.
That's a
It's
big
not a
one,
fun
yeah.
moment, but it feels like a big moment.
Yes. I guess I felt like it was somewhat included in the other question, but yes, let's talk about that. So yes, Rosa is very much in this section, kind of supports both boys, I think. And we find out at the end that she's pregnant. She isn't able to tell Joe before this news though. And do you like that? I thought that was interesting. Like I get why she was so scared because it's like, a big thing to tell someone, but
Yes.
yeah. But I don't like I didn't assume he would like run away from her if he knew that. I think it would have like helped him maybe
It would have
deal with
grounded
things
him.
better. Yes.
It would have grounded him, and it would have made him. In my mind, it's not going to replace Thomas, but it could have been a bit of a reprieve from that, right?
But
Like,
isn't it
I
a
think
surprise
though,
that
like
he ran
Rosa
away
says, though,
not
she's like, I
knowing
can't
that?
possibly tell him. It'll seem like I'm trying to make this okay by switching
Right.
them, you know. And it's like I do agree that I'm like, I don't know how you would tell them at that
It's-
like that
it's
that
tough.
moment, like like the night that it happens, like you shouldn't be telling him this, and then he leaves the next morning. So it's like, you know, I don't think she did anything
But
wrong, but that'd be so hard.
is it not still a surprise though that he left without talking to her?
yeah, him leaving without saying anything to me was a surprise.
I mean, I think he did that so that she wouldn't try and talk him out of it, basically.
Right.
Like just left.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my interpretation. But yeah.
It was a sad ending for
Yeah.
for Joe.
It's very
for sure.
disappointing because it's like, you know, like it felt like Sammy was like becoming more himself, and then like this thing happens and it's too scary for him, and so he like retreats back, and then like Joe like totally loses himself, you know, because he doesn't have his family was like his anchor.
I mean, I do love his enjoyment of punching Nazis.
Don't we all?
But yeah, I don't know. It was in some ways it was such a kind of like I think it maybe it's the right move for him, but it felt like a bit of a whimper. Like what is their relationship if that's how he acts? And so it kind of devalued all of that for me, or at least how it
Oh
all
yeah,
relates
that's
to him.
how. Yeah, not cool at all.
Yeah, but
So I think I was just surprised. I did not expect that. I did. I did expect him to go join the war effort. I don't think that's necessarily surprising,
Just
but
how
I
he
didn't
went
expect
about
him to
it, yeah.
treat her that way.
I guess.
I mean, it's kind of echoing though, like when he found out about his dad, he was like immediately like, I'm going, like didn't even think about it. I think he just like he's the kind of person that like makes up their mind and is gonna do it. It doesn't really want to hear what other people have to say.
And I think it's important to remember that we're trying to apply logic and rationale to somebody who
An
is
extremely emotional situation. Yeah.
and is grieving, and in those moments of grief, rational thought isn't a player in that, and so it's important to, I think, remember that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if in the first chapter of this next section, Joe realizes what he did and he like stops to call her at a payphone or something like that. Like in the light of day situation.
Yeah. All
I
that
do
to
think he loves
say,
her. I just think he's a very like emotionally stunted human.
how many sections do we have left? Do we have 2 sections left?
2 left, yeah.
Okay, well, we have to hurry up so I can get back to reading, because as much as we had an extended break, I am, now that we've like caught back up, I'm dying to get back into it.
Do you guys have any predictions for what's gonna happen next? I know that it was a while before since you read the very end, but yeah.
No,
I like the idea that
I don't
that
think
you just said, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
He learns how to use a payphone.
Yes.
I don't think Joe stays away. I don't think he joins the war effort. I hope he doesn't. I hope in the light of day he realizes that him going out and getting killed is not going to be the thing that vindicates or makes better the situation. I hope he realizes that. And with Sammy, I have no predictions because everything that happened to him at the end was so traumatizing. It's hard to know where they're going to pivot to something, but I don't know what it'll be.
I hate to say this, but I think this book is a tragedy. And my prediction is that no one has the hero's end, and no one is celebrated until after they're gone. So
very interesting prediction.
I'm gonna take the route that this is full on tragedy.
Don't say it.
That was good.
That might be the best timing that I've ever had on.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
On the soundboard.
Oh, but yeah, I think great predictions, guys. I'm excited to get into part 5 with you very, very soon.
All right. So with that said, the next part, 2 weeks. The website right now says 1 week. That'll get corrected. So 2 weeks from now, we will post the
Yes.
questions for the next section in 1 week. So start reading. And again, if you're behind, Jedi, if you're behind, you can still catch up. Just get the book. Start reading fast, but
It's
Yeah,
only-
the book.
it's only
420
this many.
pages before the next section, and I'm
It's
trying to
only
look up
this
how many
many.
the next one is.
I mean, start reading every moment
Oh, the
you
next
have.
section's actually really short.
The next section is short.
It's
so
really short. It's only like 60 pages. So that'll
Yeah.
everyone, you got this is your good
Oh
point.
no,
to
I'm
catch
gonna be
up
done
right
with it
now.
tonight. This
we're
is
gonna
devastating.
you know what? Our next episode's tomorrow.
Guys, no, work is bad this week.
Well, you
But, we
should
can
have thought
do
about that
fast.
before you decided to introduce us to a good book. you
Yeah.
loser.
I mean,
a
if
good
we
book.
want, we could maybe do 5 and 6 together for the next one. We can talk
No,
about that.
no.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
drag it
Let's do it.
out. Let's drag it out. It needs to breathe.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
This is
Well,
my only escape.
See, the book is
Magic.
working.
Ding,
It's-
ding, 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 ding.
He's liberating you from the chains of oppression.
Okay, well, like Lauren said, get to reading and then hop over to the website. It's bookclub.mof1.network. And you can see the questions that are on there. You can actually, if you're just tuning into this and you've missed the first couple of discussions, you can watch you can see the YouTube link right there to each of those initial discussions. So you can catch up with what we were talking about. And if Patrick, you'll miss Patrick last week, but Patrick, you did go back and watch last week's or last session's
I've seen about
discussion.
half of it.
Okay.
So
Kreider
I only
killed it.
watched the parts where Kreider responds, and he was a great representative of myself.
That's good. Yeah. I've always considered the two of you pretty much inseparable, mentally speaking. Physically, you can fit 3 of him in you.
Like a tauntaun.
He just stacks.
Yes.
Yeah. Just slice you open and sleeps in you. But check
survival
we devolved right there at the end.
We did
But
so
check
good,
out
you guys.
check out the site there, and then are we getting close enough to where we can start asking people to start considering what their recommendations for our volume 2 could be?
Yeah.
Like what our next book could be?
Absolutely.
So start thinking about what books you want to recommend, and preferably they're books that maybe you've not read before, so you would read along with us, or one that you have read and you're like, no, you guys have to do this. But start thinking about what those are, and in the next couple of sessions, we will ask your feedback, and maybe by the time we're done with Volume 1, we'll be able to announce what Volume 2 will be. That'd be kind of
Cool.
a cool way to kind of close things out. But for now, let's head out of this one, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. 1 week for the questions over on the website. But for now, I'm Andrew.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Patrick.
Peace out.
Adios.
Bye. Oh, I didn't have music ready.
You didn't. That's fine.
There
There we go.
Here it goes. All right.
we go.
Ghostbusters.